What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking some college football. Our picks coming up this week. Who you guys think will be the winners, the losers, and everything in between. Big Dog Keith's not going to be able to join us tonight. He's on a road trip at the moment, but he'll be with us here next time, I'm sure. Excuse me, goodness. All right, guys, let's go ahead and kick it off here. Dwayne RTR, first in the stream, also one of our resident members, along with Michael Porter. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Big Vol 71, Vibner, how's it going on? David Johnson, thank you for joining the show, sir. Travis Goff, Rob F, really appreciate you guys being on here. Today, what I'm going to do today is I had originally planned to have Big Dog Keith help us out here, but sound is good. Perfect. I'm going to invite anybody who wants to join the stream. They can jump in here and give me their picks along with mine, and we'll kind of see how we're gonna end up. This week, I'm gonna run or try to do a little spreadsheet here to kind of lay everything out. My pick, whoever the guest ends up being, their pick, and we'll go from there. So, kind of last minute here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some of that set up while you guys are kind of waiting for a few people to jump on. We'll do home, away, points, my pick, over or under. And we're going to do, we'll also do over/under, and my pick, and go from there. So I really appreciate that, Mike Porter. He, in all caps, he's demanding that you guys give a thumbs up. Not me, him. So, yeah. So I think last time I did this, I used betnow.eu. This go around, I'm going to use mybookie.ag. Goodness. Obviously, there are a ton of games coming up this week. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and type in I'm going to start getting some of this stuff set up. So I'm not going to do all the games. Obviously, that would take way too long. NC, I'm not doing NC State versus Virginia either. Oklahoma, Texas. I will do that one. Florida, obviously, versus A&M. South Kakalaki versus Vandy. Oh my goodness. Who else? LSU, Mizzou. That should be a pretty decent game. Not. LSU versus I almost put Mizzou. I almost put Vandy for Mizzou. Tennessee versus the Dogs. We know how that's going to go already. Let's see here. Texas Tech and Iowa State. I think that's actually going to be a really good game. Texas Tech versus Iowa State. Write that down. Not worried about that. Not worried about that. Not worried about that. Arkansas versus Auburn. Oh, Lord. I wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot pole. Let's see. Kansas State versus TCU. That should be a good game. I actually want to watch that game. Florida Atlantic versus Southern Miss. That's going to be a close game. Temple Navy, East Carolina. Mississippi State, Kentucky. Bigfoot versus the Davy Crockett's of the world. The Neckbeards. Miami versus Clemson. Of course, we're going to talk about that, guys. Bama versus Mississippi. Let me double check. I apologize. I'm not actually on the stream feed. Let me jump back. What's going on TikTok? What's up, Brad Pitt? What's up, Mary? How you doing? Let's see. Are you the only Vol fan tonight? There'll probably be another one that jumps in at some point. You dropped your hate week for the Vols. For Tennessee already. Wow. So let me do this. Let me do this. You know what? Since you guys are so kind and you jump on the stream right out of the gate, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek at the hate video that I'm making right now. I'm gonna show you the intro, and that's all I'm gonna show you. If I can get it to run, we'll see. Loading it up. Upset alert, maybe. Brandon Martin says, "Go Dogs beat Tennessee. I predict blowout, 56-14." Wow. I don't think it'll be that way, but I have another reason. It's not that I don't think UGA could do it. I just don't think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do something different. TikTok, I apologize, buddy. I didn't get a chance to see your hate video yet. I'm waiting for this to load up. It's loading slow because I'm running like 100 things at one time. Probably don't need to have that open. And I am the king of just having stuff open and running and not using anything. I really am. What's going on, Fusion? Hey, you still here, man? Did you make it? All right, so I apologize if the sound is bad. I'm going to try and move some of this stuff around just so you get a bigger view. There's really quite a bit that goes into editing. So, yeah. All right, so here it is, guys. Let's see if I can do this properly. I want to share let's do this. I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. I want to do this screen. Okay. So let's do this. Oh, no. Make it a little bigger. There we go. All right, guys. You guys ready for the intro? This is what it looks like right out of the gate. All right, that's all you get. It was probably laggy and choppy, but that's all you're getting right now. Man, somebody tried to call? No, nobody knows me. It's okay. So a little sneak peek there. We're going to stop sharing that, and that goes away. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and I'm going to throw it into the clipboard one more time here, get you guys, see if we can get somebody to join us so we can kind of get into this this college football thing. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. Like that Power T doubles as an L. Yes, it does. So everything you saw there, I created. I didn't borrow, steal, whatever. I took some basic images and then I added all the effects and everything. Video editing can be very easy and it can be very complex depending on what you want to do. What's going on, Johnny Red Dot? I wanted to initially, like when I first started doing videos, I started doing stuff that was like really easy, really simple. And like, it's basically like taking an image, throwing it on the screen and then like cutting back and forth. But as I've progressed, I've wanted to get better. So now I'm actually using editing software and having to learn how to set keyframes. And it's really, no, sir, not at all. I do not partake, as it were. As it turns out, I have asthma. So even if I wanted to, I could not. So, yeah. All right, let's look at, let's do this. I'm going to see if I can share screen again. Yeah, We're going to share screen. I want to use the screen. No, cancel. Let's do this. I'm going to move that to this screen. This might make it easier. Kind of learning my way around. Share screen. Here we go. That screen. Yes. Okay, so Kansas State all day. You know what, Mary? I kind of have to agree with that. I really do. There's old Crimson Brave, man. Without fail. Stetson Bennett is going to end up making everyone who doubted him eat their words. Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield was a former walk-on as well. Not saying Stetson is a Heisman caliber, but will be. Right now, he's the number 8 guy on the Heisman watch list, just so you know. Now, I don't think he's going to be I don't think he's going to be a Heisman winner either. But I'll take the compliment. All right, so here we go. Here, I'm going to move some stuff around just so I can keep track of it all. It really does help having multiple monitors. It really does. Bama versus Mississippi. All right, we're going to do Florida State. FSU versus the Dame. Charlotte versus North Kentucky. That's pretty much all the games I'm going to go over because that's pretty much the only ones we're talking about. All right, guys. So let's take a look here. Let's go back up to the top. All right, so let's see here. Oof. No sound. How about now? Do we have sound now? You guys let me know if the sound's back on. Now, how could you answer nope if you didn't know what question I asked? Yeah, he messed up on that one because he said nope. Obviously, he knew what question I asked. That means he heard it. If you guys ever want to have any fun, pull up to the drive-thru and tell them. And they say, "Hi, may I take your order?" So I'm sorry, but I'm blind. Can you read the menu to me? See how long they go before they figure out that blind people can't drive. Oh, when did Georgia get that last natty? Wasn't long before the last time y'all won a team against the top 10. What's going on there, Sean Stapleton? You slipped up on that one. It was a good try, though. I'll give you that. What's up, Atypical Gump? You leaving already, man? What sound does he be taking about? I guess he's been talking about. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Dwayne RTR, one of my favorites. Okay, guys, so let's see if we can. All right, feel free to jump in here, guys. We'll go over these teams. We'll get everything sorted out. I think we've had a couple of guys jump in here from time to time. It's always really nice to have those guys on. Dave Mendoza, how's it going, buddy? Big cup of Coke. Georgia will get a win against Tennessee. I believe that to be the case. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the Louisville, Kentucky game here. Since you guys are being shy tonight, and can't get anybody to join and help old big dog out. It's okay. It's okay. I'll trudge along. All right. So looking at Louisville versus Georgia Tech, I don't know how in the world Georgia Tech is. I don't know how Georgia Tech thinks they're going to win this game. It's only 5 points, and Louisville's a 5-point favorite. I don't see any reason why they could not win this game easily. I think Louisville kind of looked a little rough against Miami, but it was pretty obvious. I'm going to try this out. Let's see. There we go. It was pretty obvious that Louisville, when they played against Miami, how good Miami was. And they still, I think, did pretty well in that game against Miami, considering how well Miami has been playing. So for me to see Louisville is only favored by 5 against Georgia Tech, I would absolutely take Louisville in this game, lay the 5 points. The over and under is 60. I'm going to take the over and under was 64. I'm taking the under on that, and I'm taking Louisville. Now the next game up here that's going to be played at noon, I think everybody and their brother is going to be watching this game. This is in Oklahoma versus Texas. Oklahoma's favored by 2 points. The over and under on this game, though, is 72.5. 72.5. That's a lot of points. But I'm going to take the over. I think both of these teams have no defense. I think both of these teams have high-powered offenses for the most part. I think I think you could easily see 80 points in this game. I really do. I'm going to take the over, and I'm also, believe it or not, I'm going to take Texas. Even though Texas ain't back, I'm going to take Texas. Yeah. Who else? Who else here takes Texas? Yeah, Spencer Rattler ain't no Justin Fields. That is for sure. Taking over, taking Texas. Start play against, take the points with the Horns. Yep. Start play over. Here's Rob F. I'm going to go ahead and add him into the stream. You ready, sir?
Sir.
All right, here you are. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good. I agree with you on a lot of your picks.
Well,
last week.
I don't always get them right, but I was pretty much 100% last week on the over/under calls. I mean, there was a lot of upsets last week, but we still did pretty good. So, what do you think about the Texas-Oklahoma game?
Man, I'm probably going to go with Texas because of the quarterback.
Okay.
I think they can run the ball a little better, but I think it's going to be a close game.
I think that if Texas struggled to keep TCU in check, I think they're really going to struggle to keep Oklahoma in check. And this is one of those games where it could go either way. But I think Texas rebounds. I think they come back and they win this game.
I agree with you. Close. I say 35-28 Texas.
Ooh, that's a good score. Let's see. If I got to pick a score on this game, I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go pretty high here. I'm going to say 52 Oklahoma to 58 Texas. I'm going to go pretty high. All right. Now we got the Texas A&M Florida game. So who are you taking in that game? Now, Florida's only favored by 7. And the over-under is 58.5.
I take Florida, and they cover the 7 points.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm going to take Florida, and I'm going to lay that 7.5. And I'm also I always pick over an over/under. I'm going to pick the over on that. Texas A&M has really not shown me a lot this year, so I'm inclined to believe that they're gonna put up some points. I think that you're probably going to see something in the 70 combined point range, and I just think that
you think A&M's going to put up a lot of points on the Florida defense? Well, everybody else has.
Well, I mean, pretty much everybody Florida's played has put up what?
A lot.
30 or 40 points. So if I go to let me go to scores right here real quick.
But Ole Miss hang on them.
38, wasn't it?
I know Ole Miss put up. Yeah, it was. I think it was 38.
Let me check last week here real quick. We'll see. I think it was like 30. It was like 38 to 52 or something.
To be a top defense.
South Carolina scored 24. Florida scored 38. So that was a combined total of 62 points. So, I mean, I can easily see, being over 58 points. If I go back to week 4, which is week 1 SEC, week LMNOP overall.
Yeah, I'd go with the over as well. I mean,
I don't think Kellen Mond is somebody said Kellen Mond was bad. I don't think Kellen Mond's all that bad. I just think that he's not in the right play scheme. Ole Miss put 35 on them. They scored 51. So their offense slowed down a little bit against South Carolina, which is kind of surprising that they think they're going to be able to do that against Georgia and still win, because Georgia's not going to give that ball back very easily. What's going on, Shadow Assassin? I wish they would fire him. He's not coaching for his job. 75 million reasons. What's going on, SEC, dog?
Kellen Mond's pretty good.
Let's see here.
But
I think Kellen Mond is a really good
Florida's quarterback. The one that went to Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everybody. Let me pull up Texas A&M. Texas A&M got a win over Vanderbilt where they scored 17 points, right? And then they managed to get kind of the rust knocked off, and they turned around and scored 24 against Alabama. Now, I would wager to say they're probably going to score at least 24 against Florida. I think Alabama has a little better football program. And if Texas A&M can manage to put 24 points on Alabama, they should be able to put 24 to 30 on Florida. Florida's probably still going to get 45 or so, but it's going to put them over that 58 mark. So I'm going to take Florida and lay the 7. I think that's one of the better bets of the whole day.
Tell me, what do you think? Jimbo Fisher, I think he's the second highest paid coach in the SEC West.
He may be. He may be.
He's going to have it high back to be successful, like he did with Winston, or you think he's going to turn Texas A&M into a contender, or what?
I think what you're seeing right now in the West is that you've got 3 or 4 different schools that are in rebuild mode. You've got Ole Miss, you've got Mississippi State, you've got Texas A&M and Arkansas, and actually, realistically, LSU. So when you've got that many schools that are rebuilding, anything's possible right now because the field overall is so weak. This particular year, it seems like the East may be a little bit stronger than the West overall, even though some people would argue Alabama's the best team in the league. You would have to say Georgia's certainly a contender. Florida looks good. Tennessee's coming along nicely. So that's 3 pretty solid teams. But you can only really name one good team in the West right now, and that's LSU. So I think that you give him a couple of years, you'll probably see Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M making a transition or trying to make a transition to that air raid offense. And how is that going to pan out? I don't know, but it should allow those guys to get 7-8 win seasons, and that'll certainly help those programs take a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Auburn's been consistently the second or third best team in the West for a long time now. Alabama's been at the top. LSU's either at the top or not that good. Auburn and Alabama is the most consistent, I think.
Absolutely.
Like Georgia and Florida are usually the best 2 in the East.
Yeah, I always think, every time we play Auburn, I'm always worried about Auburn. This year we played them really early, so it was kind of different because typically, like for the last 26 years or something, we've always played them at the end of October, or November, whatever it is. And but it was late in the season, so you got a chance to see how the offense worked. You got a chance to see how the defense played, and that gave you an idea of how the game was going to go. But second game out of the gate, oh man, it's rough. Ask LSU about it. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think is better, the SEC or Big Ten? Come on, Shadow Assassin. Come on now. I ain't even going to answer that question. I ain't even going to answer that question. All right, that moves us along to the next noon game here, which is South Carolina versus Vanderbilt. Somehow South Carolina is favored by 13.5. And the over and under.
I got South Carolina, but I don't think they cover the points. So I would put my money on Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt is known to disappoint, but so is South Carolina. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually going to take Vandy, but I'm going to need every point and maybe the half. The over under in this game is 41.5, which is pretty low. I could see both of these teams getting close to that number.
I'm surprised it's 13.5 points, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's basically because both of these teams are terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at right now South Carolina's 0-2, right? But in both games, they put up 24 points against Florida and they put up 27 points against Tennessee. Both of them are ranked teams.
Yeah.
So
the Tennessee game came down to fourth quarter, last few couple of possessions, I think.
Right. I mean, I strongly feel like South Carolina is the better team here. They scored 12 points against Texas A&M, and they scored 7 points against LSU. I think South Carolina. You know what? I'm actually gonna change gears here. I'm gonna pick South Carolina, and I'm gonna lay the points. That's what I'm gonna do because it looks like Vanderbilt's offense is just that bad. So
I haven't even watched Vanderbilt play this year, so I wouldn't be bet money on that game. But I was just surprised they had South Carolina up that high. But you're right about them scoring those points, so I see why.
41.5. You know what? I'm actually going to do something crazy, and I'm going to take the under here. I just got a feeling that once South Carolina gets 28 points on the board, that they're going to start swapping out players. I don't think that Vanderbilt's going to get 14 or 15 points against South Carolina, so I'm actually going to pick the under here.
Yeah, that's the better choice.
They're saying this is a write-in game, which I don't know what that means as far as sports bet booking goes, but it looks like LSU is favored by 14.5. I really think that this is another one of those easy money games. I think LSU wins this easily. I'm going to take let me see. LSU put 41 points on Vanderbilt, and they did lose their first game, but you know, I think, geez, they did lose to Mississippi State, but they also put 34 points on the board. I really don't feel like Missouri is going to be able to beat them. I think that's why they're a 14.5 point favorite. Some people say Missouri's got a pretty good offense, but I have yet to see it. I think LSU should easily win this game. LSU should be 3-0 right now, but obviously they're not. Missouri only put 12 points up against Tennessee. They did put 19 points on Alabama, but that's not a lot. I think that the number being what the heck is going on in here? Dabbling bug. For me, I'm going to take LSU. I'm going to lay the points, and over and under 54.
I'll take the under.
Basically, what you're saying is you're saying a 20-34 game. They're saying Missouri's got to get to 20 points. I don't see that happening. That means LSU's got to get to like 40. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under on this game as well. Duke versus Syracuse. I'm not touching that game with a 10-foot pole. I don't know enough about either one of those teams to make a real guess. But if I had to pick, I would take Duke, and I would take the under. Georgia versus Tennessee. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. Texas Tech at Iowa State.
Oh,
the over-under on that game is 64 and a half. Good night. That's a lot. Texas Tech can put a boatload of points on the board. Iowa State has looked pretty good so far. They're a 12.5-point favorite, but Texas Tech, didn't Texas Tech? No, that was TCU. Excuse me. I am thoroughly confused. Let me back up here.
I don't know if Iowa State will cover, but I take them to win.
Yeah, if you take them on the money line, you got to bet $450 to win 100.
Yeah, so, that's a bad bet.
Yeah, so I mean, you ain't gonna win much if you take them on the money line.
I don't think I would bet this game at all for what they're showing.
You know, I would if I was betting every game, you know, and you had
if I was betting every game, yeah, but I wouldn't put anything significant on a game like this.
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's games I bet big on. This ain't one of them. Iowa State, though, has looked good so far. Let me pull them up here real quick. I mean, Iowa State is 2-1. Texas Tech is 1-2. For me, I mean, they put up 37 points and they beat Oklahoma. They put up 37 points. They beat TCU. They lost their season opener, but that first week was rough on everybody for the most part. So, stupid bug. You know,
you have to ask Danny Sheridan what to do on this one.
I'm telling you. I don't know where this bug came from. He's driving me crazy. I think I got it. Iowa State, man,
they beat Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, they beat Oklahoma.
But this seems like they have a big upset every year, right?
Well, they've got a pretty decent offense. I mean, they put up 35 points against HBU. They put up 56 points on Texas, which tells you how bad Texas's defense is. They put up 21 points against K-State, but K-State also was the one that beat Oklahoma. So I know they've got an offense that can move the ball.
Both of them are going to score points. But yeah, I don't know if I would take the over. The 64.5 is a lot. But, I mean, damn, if it was a little bit less, I would definitely take the over. But I don't know if I don't know if I want to do anything with this.
I got to look at this a second because this is making me wonder now. This is making me wonder quite a bit. Let's see here. I don't think Iowa State has that high-powered of an offense. I think they're just kind of okay. I still think that this is going to be over 64.5 though. Both of these teams are capable of scoring well into the 30s. So I'm going to take Texas Tech, and I need all of the points. And I'm also going to take the over in this game.
I'd take the Texas Tech and all the points, and I don't feel comfortable betting anything on the over and under.
Yeah,
maybe the over. You make a point. They both could score in the 30s, but man, it's a high number.
Yeah, it's not a low number, but you know, with the way that these offenses are out there, you're looking at the Big 12. They love to basically run no defense. So I'm just going to go with the over on that one.
Yeah, what's going on, Christy? Every week, so.
Yeah. What's going on, Christy? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you're back home and feeling better. Yes, I do keep up with what you say on other channels. All right, so let's do where is it at? Boston College versus Pitt. Pitt's favored by 6. Boston College has looked okay. not going to put this on my spreadsheet, but I'm still a believer in Pitt. I'm still going to pick Pitt, lay the points, and I would take the over in this game. It's only 44 points, but I would take the over.
I agree with you all the way on that.
Okay, Arkansas versus Auburn.
Off what I've seen, I think it's really close, but I just think Auburn takes it, and Auburn wins the game definitely.
So Arkansas.
I'm looking at the point spread. It's hard, but I still think Auburn covers.
So they scored.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
13.5.
They scored 10 points against UGA in the season opener. They scored 21 points against Mississippi State. Auburn obviously only scored 6 points against UGA, but they scored 29 points against a ranked University of Kentucky team. I think everybody would agree that Georgia has an incredible defense. But
probably the best in the country.
I think Auburn's going to be looking to bounce back. I think that they're going to be really frustrated, really upset. I think they're going to have a lot of fire under them.
I think they can score a lot of points on a mediocre defense. They couldn't do nothing with Georgia, but a lesser defense, Auburn's capable of putting up points.
They are. But my question is at this point, is Sam Pittman's defense underrated? Is that offensive and defensive line, because he's the head coach there now, are they not getting the respect maybe they deserve? Because that's what Auburn struggled with against Georgia, was that our offensive and defensive line was super stout. See, Georgia didn't do a lot of running against Arkansas. As a matter of fact, so much to the point that people were questioning whether or not we could run the ball. So when Auburn could not run the ball and they started throwing to the receivers, that's when Auburn started having trouble. I don't know how much pass rush that Arkansas is going to be able to generate, but I think just from what I've seen, I think that the point total in this 13.5 may be too high. I know this is going to be crazy, but I'm going to pick an upset here. I'm going to pick Arkansas, but I need the points.
Yeah.
And as far as the over and under, I'm definitely going to pick the under here. I think 46.5 is way too much to give these guys. You're basically saying, somebody's going to score 30 and somebody's going to score like 10. I just don't see that happen. It's like 13 to 33 or something would be the score gap in order for them to cover everything. And I don't see that happening. All right.
Arkansas keeps it close. Yeah. 13.5 too many.
Well, Auburn will have a couple of players back for this game, one of which got ejected in the Georgia game. He'll be back, and that was basically their best defensive player. So we'll see what happens. All right. So Kansas State and TCU. Who you got?
I just want to say I got TCU when they cover the points. I think they Gary Downson. I mean, he's year in and year out. They have at least a decent team. They're never horrible. And Kansas State is horrible a lot. So I think I'm going to go with TCU. I haven't got to see either one really play a lot this year other than TCU about half a game. So they look decent. So
TCU, Texas Christian Academy, University, whatever you want to call them, they're one of those teams that's really kind of hard to nail down, but Kansas State, I know that they, Kansas State, I think is on a roll, right? But Texas Tech.
Coach Schneider retired, about a decade ago? I don't think they've had to win a season since then, right?
Right. Let's see, TCU. Let me get them up and running here and look at K-State. I'm trying to pull up the stats and stuff from the last couple of games. K-State lost to Arkansas State 35-31. I think, again, that was just another one of those things where they just kind of get some rust knocked off. And then they beat Oklahoma, and then they beat TCU. The Oklahoma game was close. It was a 3-point gap. Texas Tech was a 10-point gap at 31-21. So it looks like they are trying to play some defense. TCU, while their stuff is pulling up right here. It's taking its sweet time, though, I'll tell you that. The TCU is currently ranked 4th in the Big 12. K-State is 1st in the Big 12. I have to reload this screen because it ain't going to load.
Oh, so Kansas State's
Yeah.
at the top right now.
Yeah. But
All
see,
right.
TCU, I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. I think, they held Texas to 31 points. TCU beat Texas. They held them to 31 points. And K-State basically did the same thing to Oklahoma. So
I think it's early. I think it's going to come down to Texas, Oklahoma, or TCU in the end. Who will end up being on top in the end? I just think TCU covers the points.
yeah, I like K-State. Let's see. I'm gonna take K-State, and the over/under in this game is 50. 50 and a half.
I take the over.
I'm definitely going to take the over in that game as well. I think 50 and a half is a little too low. I think either one of these teams could have a break loose game at any second, and it could be very interesting. All right, so let's see who's next on the list of victims here. Florida Atlantic, Southern Miss, nope, not interested. Temple Navy. Navy is a 3.5-point underdog. I'd still take Navy. Mississippi State versus Kentucky. All right, let me pull this up.
You saw a flash of goodness in Mississippi State when they beat LSU, but they had that disappointing loss the next week. Kentucky played Auburn close. It's a hard one, but I think the air raid goes into Kentucky and prevails. I got Mississippi State.
Oh, man. Mississippi State, huh? All right, give me a second here. So Mississippi State over Kentucky. I want to pull the teams up here and look at them.
And Mississippi State's quarterback looked pretty good. I mean, he's throwing the ball down the field on LSU.
Talking about Costello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, isn't he a grad transfer from Stanford? So, I mean, he's played some ball.
Well, it's supposedly Mike Leach's air raid offense. But here's the thing. I mean, they come out and they beat LSU by 10 points. They put 44 points on LSU, last year's national champ. And then they turn around and lose to Arkansas.
It's just confusing is all that is.
Oh, man. How do you gauge that?
That's just it's a hard one.
Kentucky comes out. They lose to Auburn 29-13, but then they hang 41 points on Ole Miss. So is it a case of that first week kind of getting things sorted out? Or is it a case of they just don't have a good defense? Because Auburn scored 29, Ole Miss scored 42.
I think they have it right. It's going to come down. It's going to be a really close game. But this is a hard one. I'm just saying Mississippi State. I don't know. I like it when they throw the ball around. So I'll go with Mississippi State.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with Mississippi State. I'm going to take Mississippi State to win it, even though the Kentucky is 0-2. They are Mississippi State is the underdog somehow. Now, The over and under on this game is ridiculous. 57.5. There's no way I'm taking an over. I'm definitely taking an under on that. And I'm taking
Yeah, I think they both
Mississippi
have about the
State.
same talent level. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's a hard one, but I'm going to stick with Mississippi State.
All right, now
And
I'm
I'll
gonna
take the under as well.
yeah. I'm gonna jump around a little bit to another game here. We're gonna jump. Bug is driving me nuts.
Notre Dame's going to stomp the shit out of Florida State.
The over and under in this
That's
game
a no-brainer.
the over and under in this game is 52.5, man.
I bet Notre Dame scores 52-1 at Florida State.
Notre Dame.
Over.
No, you want me to tell you how many points that they're going to take? You know how many points they're going to score?
How many?
As many as they want to.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen come Monday? Come Sunday if FSU wins this game? Do you know how much smack I'm going to talk? You know how much smack I'm going to talk about Notre Dame? I will never let them live that down.
Yeah. Florida State, man. It's a powerhouse program. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a harder fall than this. What they're experiencing right now.
How are we supposed to pick who's going to win this game between Notre Dame and Florida State? That's what I want to know.
Notre Dame hangs a bunch of points on them, and you could have made the spread 35 points. I'd still take Notre Dame.
So I gotta put I haven't been putting the spread in, so I'm about to go back and do that here in a little bit. But Notre Dame minus 21. I don't think FSU scores a touchdown at all, man. I really don't.
I go man 62 to damn 6. That's about what it's going to be.
72. Oh man. So Big Vol said, "Call Beetlejuice, that bug be gone quick," right? I agree. I mean, if you want easy money, I mean, the money line on this is one of the biggest of the day. You would have to bid almost $1,300 on Notre Dame to win 100.
That's
But if you bet,
I don't like that bet, but the money line is not a good one.
Well, if you bet the money line on Florida State, you bet $100. If they don't even have to win, they just have to be within 21 points of Notre Dame. You will win $820.
Those are the ones you look for. I just don't see it in Florida State. That would be as just wanting to come up with a bet. That's what you're looking for, but I ain't feeling the Seminoles this year.
Yeah, you should be able to hold on one second here. Hey, Seth, you should be able to just click on the link, man. Don't click on the dots. Just click on the link. I'm not sure. Copy and paste it into another web browser page if you have to. But that link works. That's how Rob got in. So, but if you're asking me, this is your money game of the week. This is your free money game. Bet on Notre Dame. Lay the 21 points. 52.5. That I don't even think even comes close to mattering right here. This game is going to be an absolute blowout. All right, I gotta get rid of that. Okay. So let's go up here and let's look at the next game of the day. Everybody, let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. I'm gonna change gears. Let's get this one out of the way. Where's it at? There it is. Alabama versus Mississippi. Ole Miss. Over under is.
You see Lane Kiffin talking a little trash, calling Nick Saban early, and Nick Saban said, "When you get my age, let me see how good you're doing."
Hey, what's going on, CJ Canes? Welcome back to the show, man. He was talking a little trash talk, but I mean that's one of the things that makes it exciting. And I was actually kind of impressed at how at how Nick Saban handled it. Like he didn't buy into it at all. He's like, yeah, he probably could. I probably couldn't cover him. He's like, I've had a hip replacement. I'm like, golly. He's like, yeah, I am elderly. It's like basically what he was saying is like, yeah, and I'm still your daddy, but
yeah, everybody knows who the boss is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let me ask you this.
I'm taking Mississippi. Alabama didn't win by about 14. That's all they win by. So I'm taking Mississippi.
He said Alabama is not gonna win. If they have to cover that 24-point gap, that is a bold statement.
I think it's closer. Than it's gonna be closer than people think. And the over under, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know about what I want to do. I'll probably do. I don't know. That's the tricky one.
It is. It's a tricky one. So you waiting to see what I'm gonna say?
Go ahead.
All right. So
if taking Bama, I already know it.
If you're gonna bet on the money line, you would have to bet $1,600 to win 100. The over under on this game is 69.5 points. My goodness, that is a lot.
They're betting on Alabama to score a lot of points.
Oh my goodness.
Matt Jones has been impressive, I tell you, man. I thought he was going to be the starter anyway because, I mean, he played good last year.
He did. He really did. And there was a lot of people that were talking about, Bryce Young. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to tell you right now. They're like, we need to have Bryce Young. And I was like, no. I was like, Mac Jones is going to be your starter. Guarantee is going to be your starter. No.
I said the same thing. 5-star or not, a true freshman to come into a program like Alabama and start is very, very hard and very rare to do.
So Texas A&M, which is not the greatest thing smoking here, the gap between Texas A&M and Alabama was a 28-point gap. The gap between Mizzou and Alabama was a 19-point gap. So to look on here and see a 23.5 points.
That's why I'm taking Mississippi because I watched some of that Mizzou game and I just think Mississippi can keep it within that.
I think Mississippi State, Ole Miss, is kind of getting back to that old school. I won't say old school, but it's old school for them. They used to run the air raid offense like all the time. I don't think that Ole Miss is going to win this game. But I certainly think it's more than possible for them to hang within that 23 points. They put up 35 points against Florida, which is they don't have a great defense, but their offense was working for them. They put up 42 points against Kentucky. Now it is possible Alabama comes out there and shuts that down, but I just don't know. So far, I don't think Alabama's defense is quite as legendary as it has been in previous years. I think that if Ole Miss comes out and they put 24, 25 points on the board, Alabama comes out and puts 50 on the board, there's a 25-point, 26-point gap. That could happen. But 23.5 points is a lot. I'm gonna take Ole Miss on this one for the betting purposes of the game. They're probably going to get destroyed just because I picked them.
I think they come out fine, but in the second half, Alabama pulls away. But I don't think they pull away that far ahead to cover.
I don't know. I think it's possible that they swap out later in the game, like Mizzou. They let Mizzou score 19 points. They were trash points. I don't think Nick Saban cares about trying to cover. I just think he likes to style points. And I certainly think it's possible that Ole Miss would be trying to earn some respect. So I think they're going to play hard all game. I think that it's possible that they they stay within that 23.5. So I'm going to take I didn't even say this. I'm going to take the over. We'll go back. I'm going to take the over in the Notre Dame game, and I'm also going to take. Let me see. So if they're within 24 points, 24 points to 70 is a 46-point gap. I'm going to take the under. 70 points is a lot. I'm going to take the under in this game. 69.5.
It's a hard one, but I mean, I'll agree with you on that. I'll take the under, but I think Mississippi State put some points on the board. I mean, Ole Miss put some points on the board, and they keep it kind of close for an Alabama game. Alabama doesn't cover.
Well, look at it this way: if Ole Miss comes out and they score the least amount of points they've scored all season, and they only score, let's just say 28, 4 touchdowns. They score a touchdown a quarter, right? So they're at 28 points. If Bama scores 40, then they're going to be right at the 68 points. That would have them missing. That would have them not covering and being under.
I agree with everything you just said. That's what's going to happen, I think.
I just don't know, man. I mean, that's such a.
Ole Miss, traditionally, they played Alabama tough usually every year. That's usually a pretty good game.
So, let's see, Bama 62-28. Wow. Daniel Moore saying Bama goes hard, huh? This is a blowout city. It's a 34 point? Jeez. All right. Well, if you say so. All right, so let's jump over here and talk about Miami Clemson. All right, Miami Clemson. Over-under on this game, 62 points. Clemson, a 14-point favorite. I mean, well, who you got?
I think Miami has improved leaps and bounds from what they've been the past handful of years. I think Miami's a good team. That being said, Clemson's the damn big boss man. He's going to come out and damn lay the hammer down and blow them out.
You think so?
That's what's going to happen.
Have you watched Miami play?
Yeah, but they ain't played Clemson yet. It's a whole different caliber team. Clemson's going to hurt them. But, last year, North Carolina kept it close. That was about the only game they played. Besides, the one they lost. But, I don't think Miami. I think Clemson beats them up pretty good.
This is a game that I've actually put quite a bit of thought. So I had bet on Louisville to beat Miami, right?
Yeah.
And
nothing wrong with that thinking. I mean, Louisville
was looking.
Who I had off, I had the same thing that game.
So here's what I'm thinking, right? If you look at these guys on paper, they're really not very different. Now, you can always throw out there and say, hey, look at Clemson. Who have they played? They haven't played anybody, right? And the only team that Miami has played is Louisville, in which they beat them. And if you watch that game, they beat them soundly. They have an offense that just absolutely clicks. FSU scored 10 points, but, I mean, Miami blew them out 52-10. Trevor Lawrence, obviously Heisman Trophy candidate, their last game, 41-23. Now they shut out the Citadel 49-0, which to me is like Miami playing against FSU. I think this
I
is a
think-
close. I think it's a closer game.
You
I
think,
think that-
who you
here's.
betting on?
I'm gonna take.
You taking Miami?
I'm gonna take Miami.
All right, that's a bold bet, but that's how you win. Yeah, you don't win any money playing the safe route every time and going with the
Well,
favorite.
I mean, anybody could get on here and pick the favorites. I mean, everybody could do that. But
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that Miami. I think Miami has a lot of.
I hope they do. I mean, I would
A
love
lot
that
of
to be
grit.
a great game. I hope Miami is back. It's good for college football to have a big program like that back. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
I think
I
Miami's got
I
a.
hope they are back.
Yeah, I think Miami's got a chip on their shoulder. I really do. I think that they want. I think they're just going to want it more. I think they're going to dig deeper. I think they're going to try harder. I feel like Clemson is used to playing a soft schedule. And I don't know if they've got all their ducks in a row so far, but this is going to be the toughest team they played by far. I think Miami is looking for a fight. I'm going to take Clemson to win it, but I'm going to take Miami to stay within the 14.
Okay.
All right. So let me put some stuff up here real quick. I want to get all my stuff lined up here.
The Miami fan base is more like an NFL team. I live in Florida half of the past 10 years, and the Miami fan base down here has the feel of an NFL fan base. It isn't like Georgia and Florida,
Yeah. So we picked Texas. Which one was the favorite? Was Texas the favorite? Texas has to win by 2.
Ellinger, man, he's a good player. I think he's going to get drafted pretty high.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know if he'll go in the first round, but he'll probably go in the first 5 rounds easy.
It seems like he's been the starter there forever, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, Daniel. We're gonna get to the Georgia game here in a second. I'm just updating my spreadsheet real quick. Texas A&M over Florida. Obviously, Florida. Florida has to win.
Kyle Trask is the best quarterback in the SEC.
Oh yeah. Is Louisville the favorite in this game? Let me check. Yeah, Louisville is the favorite. Wait a minute. Yeah, Louisville has to win.
You know what? You didn't say it, but Miami's quarterback came from Houston, and he was a Heisman caliber quarterback in their league, man. And he's put up big numbers his whole collegiate career. So
yeah,
that's something you might be on to something with your pick there.
We'll definitely see what happens. I'm trying to get let me see, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, USC has to win by.
Him and Kyle Trask were on the same high school team, and he started every year, and Trask never started in high school. That's kind of odd.
Well, I think that's because
They never start and get Scully at Florida. I don't know if I've ever heard that ever happening.
I don't either. Oh man. Let's see. 14. LSU has to win by 14.5. Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a money line. Arkansas.
If any of you guys like coffee, I got the Black Rifle coffee in the mail yesterday. Man, this shit's good.
How is it? Is it strong?
They make a bunch of different roasts. The one I'm drinking right now is called Coffee or Die. It's the medium roast. And the same shipment also got the Freedom roast. It's a medium roast with a hint of cinnamon. And I got another one called Blackbeard's Delight. It's the dark roast. It's supposed to be really strong. They got one called Murdered Out. I think it's their strongest one. It's extra dark.
Wow. So I picked Arkansas to beat Auburn, but I needed the points. Need the points, and there was 13.5. So K-State. I picked K-State over TCU. K-State need the points. 8.5. Almost put 8.4 because I don't know what I'm doing. How strong is that coffee?
I like a medium roast. When I buy something from the supermarket, I like 8 o'clock coffee is probably my favorite. Or Costco's got one called Don Pablo.
Right.
That's the one I like a lot. And I'll drink Folgers. I'll drink anything, but I've drank a lot of coffee, and I get the whole bean and grind it. Yeah. Black coffee is really good. There's one out of San Francisco called Phil's Coffee. If you like really dark coffees, that's the one you could get. I worked in California for a few years, and that was probably the best coffee I had out there. But this Black Rifle coffee is as good as I've ever had anywhere.
Nice. Yeah, so I've got.
And it's good. It's low acidity, like it's real smooth.
Yeah, I don't like real acidic.
A lot of coffees are pretty high on their acid level, and these are pretty low. You can taste it. It's got a real smooth, crisp taste to it.
Yeah. All right, I think I got it. Sorted out here. Now we're down to the favorite game of the week: Georgia and Tennessee. Oh man, what is
the hard nail boot? He got him.
We just crushed his face. Larry Munson, man, is great. One of the greatest of all time for sure.
Yeah, he was the best.
JC said we're on coffee commercial. I will drink coffee at 11 o'clock at night, at 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. I can drink espresso and go lay down and go to sleep. It does not affect me the way it does most people.
I'm the same way.
I can drink a Red Bull and go lay down and go to sleep. Caffeine does not have the impact on me that it does most people. Matter of fact, right here in front of me is this was a Dunkin' Donuts coffee I got this morning. It does nothing.
Dunkin' Donuts has good coffee.
It's okay. I've been meaning to buy some Black Rifle, but I haven't done it yet.
I'm pretty consistent. I drink 2 or 3 cups of coffee in the morning, water all day, 1 soda during the day, and 2 or 3 cups of coffee at night every day.
I used to drink. I'll drink a pot of coffee a day for sure. I use the Maxwell House Master Brew or Master whatever it is.
Yeah,
they're
Maxwell House is good.
I just buy usually whatever is on sale. But if I had my choice, I know this is going to sound ghetto, but I will drink. What do you call it all day? I'll drink Waffle House coffee all day. Like I'll go to Waffle House just to get coffee. Give me a large coffee to go.
I used to eat at Waffle House a couple times a week growing up. I'm 39 years old. I grew up in Georgia. But I remember going there and eating breakfast in high school. Like $3.50, $4. I stopped. I was on a road trip coming back and stopped at a Waffle House a couple weeks ago. I was by myself coming back from a job. And damn, I think I spent $12 on breakfast for just me. I could have went to Cracker Barrel for that.
Right. Mr. Cracker 74, I appreciate the super chat, sir. He says, "Who have they played, big dog?" That's obviously a nod at the Uncle Lou's channel. I'm surprised he's not in here, but yeah, appreciate you donating to the channel, sir. It does help. For those of you who are in the channel now, we've been running the channel for a while. Man, we got the member status activated. So if you want to join the channel, be a member, feel free to look down below. You'll see a little button that says join. You can join that. It's really expensive. It's $2 a month. Basically, you're buying me a cup of coffee a month, and I appreciate it. There is other levels in there. There's a $2.99. I think there's a $1.99, a $4.99, and a $9.99. So if you guys want to join the channel and support, buy the old dog a cup of coffee. He'd greatly appreciate it. So thank you so much. Don't have to. Everything's free. Love for you guys to be here and just support the channel just by being here. So thank you so much for that. Other ways you can support the channel is to share, send it to your mom and them, all that fun stuff. So yeah, we'll go from there. All right. So let's let's look at that. Now let's look at the next game here, Georgia and Tennessee. Georgia come out, looked a little sloppy against Arkansas in the first half and really slapped it together in the second half. Walked out of that game 37-10, was the only SEC team to cover their points. Then we come out, play Auburn. Everybody was saying how Georgia's going to get destroyed by Auburn. They can't play that way against Auburn and win, and you're right, we didn't have to. Georgia came out, manhandled Auburn. They were only able to get 2 field goals the entire game. This was the number 7th ranked team in the country, and they couldn't do anything. Bo Nix was running for his life, qualified for a triathlon, an Ironman, and the Iron Cross. So, yeah, he struggled mightily. Then we look at Tennessee. They barely escaped South Carolina by 4 points. They struggled to put up 35 points against Mizzou, and they let Mizzou score 12 points against them. A lot of people are high on Tennessee right now because they say they got a good line. My opinion is, let's see what you think first, Rob F.
What's the point spread?
I believe it is UGA by 14. No, it's 12.5 on my bookie.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say this. You saw the Army game last week, right?
I did. I did.
Hit the replay. Same thing. They're going to hurt them. Georgia all the way.
Okay, so in this particular game, the over and under in this game is 43 points.
I take the over. Georgia's going to hang up many points on them. It'll be over, definitely.
Okay, so you're taking Georgia to win outright. You're going to lay the points. It's a 12.5.
And I'll take the over. Yeah.
And you're going to take the over. Okay.
I don't think Tennessee's bad, but I think the Georgia defense is truly elite. And I think Stetson Bennett's better than everybody's giving them credit for. I think Georgia steamrolls them.
I think Georgia is going to absolutely roll in this game. But the one thing I keep looking at is I don't think that Garantano is any better than he's ever been. I think that he's the same as he's always been. You know exactly what you're going to get.
Bo Nix, and look what we did to him.
That's kind of my opinion. Now, Tennessee does have some tall receivers, but Auburn
Auburn.
Yep, Auburn did too. And Auburn also had the fastest wide receiver in all of college football. They
had him in the drunk take all night. So
they did. Well, he runs a 10.07 100-yard meter dash. That is lightning in a bottle, and they couldn't get him open. They could not get him open. So I don't think that the arm talent at Garantano is any better than what Bo Nix has. I don't think that Garantano is any more mobile than Bo Nix. Bo Nix is extremely mobile. He couldn't get it down the field. I don't think Tennessee has a running back at the caliber of Tank Bigsby. I just don't see him moving the ball a whole lot against Georgia. You're not going to run the ball. You're not going to do much. So I'm going to pull up the stats real quick for Tennessee.
And I'm not hating on Tennessee. I mean, I think they got a decent team this year. They got the longest running streak, I think. They got a pretty good team, but I think Georgia's a playoff team this year. So I just think Georgia rolls them.
Well, Garantano's been sacked 4 times already this season. His completion percentage is 61%. I don't think
see what they did to him last year. They had to carry him off the field. No, that was the backup.
That was the backup. That was Marv.
Yeah, that was the backup.
Across 2 games, Garantano has thrown for 450 yards. That's roughly about 225 yards a game. I don't feel like if that's your average against the 2 teams that they played, I don't feel like that's near enough to be able to beat Georgia. Your average
they don't score enough. They're not going to score that many points on Georgia's defense. I mean, Georgia's just going to pull away from them.
I think that Georgia wins this game. I think Georgia is easily going to win this game. I think it's very similar to what you're talking about. I think it's going to be one of those 30 to 14 games. I'm actually going to pick the over in this game, and I'm going to lay the 12.5 and take UGA. So
35-14.
You're going
35-10, 35-14.
You're saying 35-14 UGA?
35-10. I'll lower it. 35-10.
I picked 30-10 on BVD's channel, but I'm actually going to change that. I'm going to go 35. You know what? I'm going to be really crazy. I'm going to go 38-10. What was that? What was that? Where was Daniel at? He was in here earlier. He said he picked something like that similar too. I think he picked big though. He picked 34-10, so I'm actually picking bigger than he is. It's going to be raining. I don't think that matters. I think that Georgia's offensive line and defensive line are going to do just fine in that environment. Crimson Braves is 24-10.
It's going to be a real emotional game from Tennessee. I mean, they want to be good, but I mean, they run into the bus, so I'm sorry. I mean, I hate it for them. I mean, but
it's like
they ain't beating Georgia this year. Maybe next year.
Georgia wanted to be good against LSU. How'd that work out?
Right.
Oh, I got some people bringing up the fact it's going to be raining. It's going to be raining, so that means Georgia's probably going to run the ball more. What makes you think that they're going to be able to stop the run?
And I don't think Georgia, I've been saying this all year. I've been saying it before the season. Georgia doesn't have a real good backfield. They have a mediocre. They have the worst. This is the worst backfield Georgia's had this century.
I would say it's probably the worst backfield we've had in maybe 10 years. But
I'd say I'll go all the way back to 2000, man.
No, JC, it's not Ballard. It's Rob F.
But I think we have an elite offensive line. I think the quarterback's good enough. I think we have an elite receiver with a few other good ones, and we have the best defense in the nation.
Absolutely. So for me, let me get rid of this banner here real quick. Let me get rid of that ticker banner. And then let me get rid of that. Hold on. There we go. Somebody's asking what your name was. Georgia with Zeus will smash for 4 yards per, if not more. Am I smoking with this asthma? No, sir. I've had this asthma ever since I was in the military. So yeah. But Georgia's going to be able to run the ball.
Zeus.
I like Zeus too.
He's good. But that's it.
I think that there is a lot of Georgia players that have taken issue with the comments that has been made by Mr. Cade Mays, and I don't think that there's that many Tennessee fans that have had anything to take away from Georgia. There's no billboard material to get upset about. So I think that it's going to be one of those things where Georgia's going to make you eat your lunch because you ran your mouth. I think Florida's learned that the hard way. Tennessee should have learned it the hard way by now. South Carolina's had to learn that before. So I think this is one of those things where you learn that you don't run your mouth. You get out there, you play football, but you don't run your mouth. Willie Toombs said, he said he's dog all the way, but I'm just saying it's going to be raining. I know. I know.
Cade Mays is a tough run blocker. Now, I don't think they whip him or anything like that. But I mean, he's a good lineman, but he's not a real good pass blocker. But I think he's an elite run blocker. But he holds his own. But I mean, Georgia runs away with it.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see happen is Georgia is going to put up a solid performance in the first half. Then you're going to see that Georgia is going to continue to put the pressure on, and then eventually Tennessee is not going to have enough depth to compete with Georgia. Georgia is extremely deep in the depth chart for talent.
Yeah,
I mean, Georgia has just in the last 3 recruiting classes, not the 4th or 5th, because I could add those in if you like. But the last 3 recruiting classes, there are 19 5-stars, 62 4-stars. Now think about that. That's 81 players right there in just the last 3 recruiting classes that are 4-star and higher.
If you add enough stars, Georgia has the most talented team in the country.
That is correct. So you look at all – Georgia has more 5-star players than South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ole Miss combined. Unless I misread that article.
All the 5 stars go to a handful of programs every year. It's hard for anybody. There aren't that many 5 stars out there.
No, there's not. Cade Mays' best block is garbage after the whistle. Cade will be a cheap shot guy. Check yourself at all times. There's a lot of people that's not happy with the way that whole thing went down. The comments that were made, the way they were made, didn't need to be made that way. They interviewed Big Ben Cleveland, and they asked him point blank. It was like, your teammate Cade Mays said that it's a toxic environment in Georgia. Would is that how you feel? And his response was, that's not how I feel. I think the team environment is great. He said, but everybody views things differently. So he was graceful about how he tackled it. To me, if there's an issue like that, it's basically not. There's no way you can win that in the public eye when you come out and you say stuff about a program that puts you on scholarship. Like, he started out wanting to go to Tennessee, and then he turned around and then flipped to Georgia. Great. And then after that, he decided, I want to go back and play for Tennessee. Okay. So then he puts in his transfer, and then when he doesn't get his transfer, then all of the stuff started about it being toxic and whatnot at UGA. And to me, I didn't agree with that. I mean, I want the guy to play. I don't have any ill will for him for wanting to play, but to me, just trash talking where you came from that gave you an opportunity, gave you a chance, is just not.
Yeah,
not the way to go about it.
I don't put a whole lot into it. He should have kept his mouth shut. I chalk it up as just drama. Sometimes everybody just don't get along well, and maybe it's a better fit for him to be at Tennessee, but he should have kept his mouth shut and took the high road. But I think Georgia players are going to be looking for him if they get a shot to get him.
Hey, Big Vols, Justin Fields did not say it was a toxic environment. His lawyer said that. But, yeah, his lawyer had him do it for emotional benefits for the pass.
I think Kirby runs the tight ship, and it's probably, hectic there sometimes. He wants to be the best, and, and some people don't take that well. I think Kirby's a yeller. He gets in your face. I mean, it's probably a big it's a big workload for these guys. I mean, they're coming out of high school. Kirby demands excellence. I mean, Cade took it the wrong way, and he played a lot. I mean, it wasn't that. I mean, I just think it was just some BS drama. He didn't get along with probably some of the other players, maybe the coaches, and transferred. Happens all the time.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's part of it. Sometimes it's they find out that they're not going to be the starter, or they feel like they're not going to be the starter, so then they want to go to somewhere where they are going to be the starter. Because
it happens all the time. All the time.
So let's be completely honest. I mean, if you're a player and you're a good player, and Cade Mays is a good player, but if you find out, if you find out you got guys behind you that's going to end up taking your seat, man, it's like, well, I'm not going to get the play time I need to go pro. Then I need to go to I need to go to a school that's going to let me play. And you're right, Big Vols. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. It's kind of exactly the same, but half a dozen one way or the other. Yeah.
Let's talk about Georgia's quarterback room for a minute. I'm really surprised they have it. Carson Beck hasn't got any playing time. They maybe probably wanting to redshirt him, even though he can get some in there. But I've heard through a few different sources he's by far the most talented quarterback on the team by far.
Man, I have
all
heard.
things being considered, but Stetson Bennett probably just knows that playbook by far the best. He's got the leadership and just the maturity, and I don't know. And you got JT Daniels, 5-star quarterback. I mean, you would think he would get a shot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if Stetson Bennett keeps playing well, it's gonna Kirby. I mean, it's kind of like he went with Fromm. I mean, he proved he can win a game. And he's in there.
Well, here's what you got to look at. You put Stetson Bennett out there because it was basically the only quarterback you had at that moment that had any experience. Now,
yeah.
DeJuan Mathis,
he had a lot, but he just had, some experience playing at Georgia.
Yeah. So you got Stetson Bennett, who's been around for a while. He knows the offense. All the guys know him. He has cohesion with him. He's played with him before. They know what to expect out of the guy.
And I get it. I mean, I probably would have started him too if it was my call. I get it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
With that talented of a group, I mean, you think somebody would get it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and next year they got another 5-star coming, and you got a walk-on starting. Good for him. I mean, that just says a lot to him, I think.
Well, I think this is Stetson Bennett has been working and sharpening his skills for a long time, and now he's given the opportunity to be a starter, in which he went out and he done a fabulous job. So you've got DeJuan Mathis, who we put him out there, and he looked like a deer in the headlights on the interstate. JT Daniels, he played one game last year, and he didn't even play for a whole game, and then he's been out ever since. So he essentially has no real starting experience in almost a year and a half. Almost 2 years, actually. Then you've got Carson Beck, who's never started a game, and so what do you do? And you got to pick a guy here. So at that time, Carson Beck, true freshman, never played, so he's probably not going in unless it's a dire need situation. Then you got JT Daniels, who's not cleared to play, so he's definitely not going in. That leaves you with DeJuan Mathis as a starter or Stetson Bennett. Well, Stetson Bennett has been around for a while, and DeJuan Mathis is a mobile quarterback. So they're trying to make a transition to improve the offense, so it makes sense to go with a mobile quarterback. They put the mobile quarterback in, and the mobile quarterback begins to struggle against Arkansas. So he gets pulled, and they say, well, I guess you're on mop-up duty for the first game of the year. And Stetson Bennett goes in and blows everybody away. And they're like, where the hell is this coming from?
He earned a start.
So then Stetson Bennett. So Stetson Bennett is looking like a Aaron Murray 2.0. And so he was starting with the ones on Monday for the next week. There was no doubt in any of the coaches' minds, like, we know what we got in this guy. We just seen it happen. We've got to go with somebody who's got some experience for this Auburn game. So they had to put Stetson Bennett in place, and then Stetson Bennett goes out and does the work and gets it done. So now you're in week 3 against another ranked team before you got to play Alabama. So now it's probably too late in the season to try to get fancy and throw JT Daniels or Carson Beck or DeJuan Mathis in as a starter. Now, they're all going to get a chance to play, but I'm just telling you right now, our best bet against Tennessee is to play Stetson Bennett because he knows it. That's who's been running with the ones.
Proved that he can win a game.
Correct. So now he goes in against Tennessee, right? Probably going to win that game if he continues to play like he has. So now we're talking week 4 playing against Alabama. You've got Stetson Bennett, who has played all 3 games, won all 3 games, and then you got 3 other guys that have no game experience. Who you're going to play against Alabama? At this point,
you got to go with Bennett.
That's correct.
But I think unless he goes out there and stinks it up, knowing Kirby, Bennett will start every game unless he gives him a reason not to.
Yeah,
Kirby likes to go with the safe bet at quarterback, it seems.
Hey, Jason S. Big Vols. How much do you want to bet that Stetson Bennett goes higher in the draft than Garantano? And Garantano has been the starter at Tennessee for years.
Undrafted free agent.
They're hiding JT. Listen, after the last couple of years, I'm going to tell you right now, Kirby Smart is not hiding anything. He doesn't know how to. What's going on, Jesse? Haven't seen you in a while, buddy, man. Love you guys, man. Where you been? Man, appreciate it, man. Jesse's a friend of mine that we actually met playing on the PlayStation. So, who's been trolling all evening? You talking about Big Ball? Well, I don't fault that guy for trolling, man. I mean, it's hate week. I think you guys are really going to enjoy the hate video that I'm making. I'm going to be putting that out tomorrow. So Yeah. Well, Rob, that pretty much wraps it up for the show, man. Let me see. SEC Dog, he's talking to Crimson Bray. Tell Moreno I said hi. Miss talking smack with you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna send Guantanamo to damn Guantanamo Bay. He's gonna be locked up for a long time, the whole game.
Oh man. Fields left. Y'all need to find something else to find on UGA. Just saying. Hey, you know what? If you're showing up on the radar enough to hate right out of the gate, you know you're living rent free in their head. I had to go dig up stuff on Tennessee because I didn't pay enough attention to them to know anything bad about them. I'll tell you right now, man. Ever since they did that stupid cardboard cutout at the practice, Georgia's been whipping that behind, man. I call it the curse of the cardboard cutout. All right, man. Well, that's gonna wrap it up.
I tell you what, Tennessee's coach is a damn mean bastard, dude.
Oh,
Jeremy
Jeremy
he
Pruitt,
cussed out Mark Richt when he was at Georgia.
Yeah. Welcome back, Dwayne. Yeah, Jeremy Pruitt has been as the only reason Jeremy Pruitt is at Tennessee.
Pissed off every time you see him.
The only reason Jeremy Pruitt is at Tennessee is because nobody else would take that job. Nobody. Yeah, 2 NFL running backs definitely helped Jay Fromm. There's no doubt about it. Garantano ain't no Dobbs. That's also a fact. Let me get that math water. When you guys get a chance, just show you what Jesse's talking about. I was making a comment on one of my shows about how there was like people joining OnlyFans, asking if I was going to start an OnlyFans channel, and I said no. I said I'm not going to be selling any math water. I meant to say bath water, but it come out math water because I'm a brainless husk of a person. Went to fight Rick at his house when he was drunk. Are you serious, Jason? Is that a true story? Or are you trolling me, man? I gotta look that up. I bet you that is a factual statement.
There have been multiple reports that he would yell and cuss at Rick at practice on the field because Rick wasn't coaching. Like they disagreed on philosophies or whatnot on how practice should go.
Well, I mean, in Jeremy Pruitt's defense, Jeremy Pruitt was probably right. Jeremy Pruitt was probably right.
And I never called for Rick to get fired. I mean, I loved Mark Rick as a coach, but I mean, it was time for him to go. But I mean, I never was the guy that said get rid of Mark Rick. But I'm happy where we are now. But
I'm going to tell you right now. When I watched him lose, we were favored at home to beat Tennessee. I mean, to beat Alabama, and we lost to them. And not only did we lose, we got royally embarrassed. I was furious.
Back in 2008, when they came in and just stumped them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was the damn tough one to swallow there. That's what put Bama back on the map, that game. Like, Bama was back at that game. After that game is when they took off.
Hey, what's going on, Stray Dog? You almost missed the show, man. We're going to wind it up here in a few minutes, but to tell you one of the things that made me say that I wanted to fire Mark Richt was whenever we lost to Georgia Tech because we didn't manage the damn clock properly.
Yeah.
Now, you got to understand something. I'm driving down the road. This is back before I had enough money to afford DirecTV or cable television or whatever. And I was listening to the game on the damn radio. And Georgia Tech goes down, scores, and they're up by like 2 points. And because of absolutely piss poor clock management, wasting timeouts where we didn't need to use them, we ended up not having enough time to get down the field. The offense was moving the ball, but we didn't have enough time to get down the field to kick a field goal because Mark Richt, who'd been a coach for years at this point, didn't know how to manage a damn clock. I was like, are you serious? How can you possibly be man, how can you be a damn head coach at a Power 5 school and not know how to manage a clock? That don't even make sense. Never mind the fact that you're a Power 5 coach in the SEC. Never mind that you're one of the flagship programs of the SEC. Can't manage a damn clock. Winning 10 games a year Think about this. Georgia fired a coach who had a record of winning 10 games a year every year because every
year.
time, yeah, appreciate that, big boss. Every time we get to a big game, he'd get blown out. Not he would lose. It was like Oklahoma rolled into town. We get blown the hell out. I was so mad. I said, you got to be kidding me, man.
We never could quite get to the promised land, but like we were always right there. I mean, it was miserable.
Man, I explained
we still are. We're still in the same spot. I mean,
no,
it feels like
we've gotten
a tad bit closer, but
a tad. We've been one play away from a national championship, man. So that's by far miles and miles further than Mark Richt was ever going to get us. But here's the thing.
I think the year we had Aaron Murray and Mark Richt and Alabama beat us on the last play when the Georgia receiver caught the ball on the 1 yard line and was tackled and ran out. I think that was our best team. I think that team was better than the national championship game team.
Maybe.
My opinion, but
maybe.
I mean,
but I'm going to tell you that here's the other thing that pissed me off is that
Murray is the better quarterback than Fromm by far.
Oh yeah. So Murray goes out. We snap the ball. We wasted a timeout that we didn't need to waste. We could have clocked the ball right there, and we would have had plenty of time. And that would have given us an opportunity to save that timeout. So that was, again, poor clock management by Mark Richt. And that was back before you had a 10-second runoff or any of that garbage. So Mark Richt, they called a timeout. We're on like the 8 or 9 yard line. Aaron Murray has like an 85 to 90% touchdown ratio in the red zone. One of the best in college football history to ever do it.
Oh yeah, if we would have won that game, we would have went to the BCS national championship and won it.
Played against Notre Dame and beat the brakes off of them. That's what would have happened.
We would have killed them. Like we should have won the Natty that year.
Yeah, but here's what happened. Mark Richt, not being a smart coach, Mark Richt being the bonehead that he is, goes out there and does not tell his receivers. It's obviously a pass play. You're not going to run the ball at this point. You're going to pass it. Doesn't tell his receivers.
Happening. I mean, you got to be a sharp.
All he had to say was this.
Remember to say that.
All you got to remember to say is, if it's not in the end zone, knock it down.
They're trained to catch the ball. I mean, that's a.
But here's the thing. The ball was tipped, right? And because the ball got tipped, Mosley tried to come get it. If a coach would have told him prior to that, if it's not in the end zone, knock it down, he would have went up and grabbed that ball and dropped it. And then that would have been, we'd have had another play, probably, maybe could have got a touchdown. But because that comment never happened, that was never a possibility. And to me, it was just another thing about why Mark Richt was never going to, he was always going to get out coached. Yeah, Bobo was calling the plays. Yeah.
That was the rough one, man. And I've always liked Mike Bobo. I mean, I think one day he'll end up at Georgia again, working for Kirby one day.
I think he'll come back. Yeah, I agree with you, JC. Jake Fromm never should have played his senior year either. But anyway. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the show. We've been going on almost an hour and a half, a little over here. We got all the picks in. We got a hate video coming out tomorrow. Obviously, Saturday is going to be a heck of a game. I really appreciate you guys so much for being on here, joining, supporting the channel, becoming members. All you members in the stream today, Michael Porter, Dwayne RTR, Stray Dog, the gentleman who gave us a super chat. Really appreciate you, sir. Thank you for that. You guys are awesome. You guys know where to find me. If you guys want to, you can email me, get in contact with me. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, your dad's obituary page, whatever. Hit me up there, guys. Thanks so much. You guys have a great day. Rob, I'm going to kick you out here so I can close out the show. Have a great day. Thank you for joining the show, Rob. God bless. Go Dogs.